Before we dive hands-on into the course, I want to first establish a solid background for you on Drupal. In this lesson and the next, I will quickly explain several critical and foundational concepts about Drupal. The most common definition for Drupal is that it is a content management system or a CMS. This is absolutely correct, but as you will soon see, it is far more powerful than just a CMS. First, let's start by understanding what exactly a content management system is, why they have come into existence, and why it is indispensable in today's world. I will first start from the phase 1 of content management evolution, the dark ages, mid to late 1990s. And this is back in the age when dinosaurs walked the earth. Web pages then were nothing more than simple text HTML pages structured into folders on some servers somewhere on the internet. On the screen, you can see a simple sitemap of such a website. These web pages had names like index.html, about.html, and so on. Anyone with a browser could access any page. HTML markup allowed links to be created amongst these pages, and every URL corresponded to an HTML page somewhere on the internet. Everything in this design was hunky-dory at the beginning until the websites started growing in size. Popular sites started getting hundreds of HTML pages, and then thousands, and then tens of thousands of HTML pages. Very quickly, it became clear that this technique of building websites was not scalable. There were lots of problems with this model of building websites. And now let us see what those problems were. The first problem was that plain HTML technology did not separate a design from content. The result of this was that if you had to change the site's design, it would require a lot of time, effort, and money. Formatting information, page layout, and other visual aspects had to be done individually page by page. Cascading style sheets, that is CSS technology, had still not been adopted. Even if you wanted to simply change the default font, you would have to edit every single file. And then the second problem was the site structure required a complete duplication of content. You already know that in any given website, there will be some common elements repeated throughout every page, such as the header, footer, logo images, navigation menu, copyright information, contact information, disclaimers, and so on and so forth. The early design meant that this repeated information had to be replicated in every HTML file. And you can appreciate what that means. If anything changed, then every single file had to be updated. And to compound the problem, if there were multiple developers, then each developer's work had to be verified. And to add to this nightmare, every software tool of that time, like Microsoft Front Page, Adobe PageMill, treated this problem differently. And the third major problem was that websites had to be manually kept consistent. So there were consistency issues. Suppose you added a new article to your website, then every listing all over the website had to be manually updated to link back to this page. Else, your website would be inconsistent. Just keeping track of the places to update every day would be a full-time job then. So, this is how the situation was back in the late 1990s. Because of these major problems, there was a need to improve the technology. Necessity is the mother of invention, and so technology evolved. This started from the late 90s and really caught on in the first decade of the 2000s. A new technological revolution, that is phase 2, age of scripts and databases, had arisen. Common areas of a website, such as the navigation menu or the header and the footer, were physically segregated and included through different scripts, such as JavaScript, ASP, and several others. Secondly, databases were used to store the content of the HTML pages. You can see this model represented in this diagram on the screen. And this is the older model. Third innovation was that CSS technology was employed to design the look and feel of the website. This resulted in a massive conceptual change. That is, the segregation of design and content. This is an extremely important concept, and you will find this all over this course. That is the separation between the visual aspects and the actual content of the page. Using databases also meant that you no longer needed thousands of HTML pages because the key content would be stored in the database now. Even with all of this innovation, some new challenges emerged. The first issue was that there was now a lot of scripts, databases, and configuration files to be separately maintained. The second major issue of this model was the dependence on programmers and technical teams to push out and maintain pages on the website. Third challenge, that is user generated content such as comments, discussions, reviews, ratings, etc., were inconsistent in user interface across the World Wide Web. Each designer would implement these in their own way. The overall experience for the end user was totally disconcerting. So now we finally come to the age that we are in currently, which I will call as the age of content management. Software programs have slowly been created that will address all of the challenges that we have seen so far using a single consistent user interface. On the screen now, I have distilled the most common features and facilities that literally all good CMS applications provide as of today. Drupal certainly provides all of this and a whole lot more. Please pause this lesson and read through this list to understand the common features of any CMS framework. Drupal is a flexible CMS based on the LAMP stack, that is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, with a modular design allowing features to be added by installing new modules at will and allowing the entire look and feel of the website to be changed just by installing themes. Drupal is not just a CMS, but it is a complete web development framework. By learning Drupal, you will be capable of building many web applications with minimal or zero programming. And if you are able to program, then the sky is the limit with Drupal. What exactly do I mean by saying more than a CMS? I will explain exactly that in the next lesson. I will demonstrate the power of Drupal by showing several high transactional, high value websites powered by Drupal, which provide much more than just content management. And so, with that, I will conclude this lesson. You have seen how web development evolved over the last 3 decades. You have seen the challenges faced and how, in response, technology also evolved in the form of content management systems. The next lesson will get you really charged up about learning Drupal, and you will also see when not to use Drupal. So, with that, see you in the next one.